Good morning. I'm Karen Hamstra. It is Monday, June 15th, and welcome to Title Talk. I have a few new books to show you this morning. The first, I just want to make you aware that we have it now, is Dale Brown's new novel, Eagle Station. And normally we have some holds on Dale Brown's book, but this one is instantly available as soon as it goes out of quarantine. But if you put a hold, issue a hold now, you will be the first one to have it. So act fast while it's still here. Here's a little different sort of book. This is a horror novel, and you know I don't normally feature horror novels, but here it is, Out of Body by Jeffrey Ford. And the reason we have it is because it's about, get this, a small town librarian who witnesses a murder at his local deli, and what had been routine sleep paralysis begins to transform into something far more disturbing. The trauma of holding a dying girl in his arms drives him out of his own body. The town he knows so well is suddenly revealed to him from a whole new perspective. Secrets are everywhere, and demons fester behind closed doors. Worst of all, he discovers a serial killer who has been preying on the area for more than a century, one capable of traveling with him through his dreams. The poor librarian. So if you want to read how this comes out, it's not a very large book, and you want to scare yourself to death, give Out of Body a try by Jeffrey Ford. Here's a new historical called The Paris Hours by Alex George. This takes place in the 20s in Paris, France, 1927 to be specific. And it's about the housemaid who worked for Marcel Proust, and she was charged with destroying all of his notebooks after his death, but she kept one back, and now it has disappeared, and she is desperate to get it back. So there are three other main characters, a lovesick painter named Guillaume, Soren, an Armenian refugee, and a journalist named Jean-Paul. And the reason the title Paris Hours, apparently all this action takes place and might need to be completed before midnight, so they just have a short period of time to resolve the mystery of where the journal went. People like Christina Baker Klein, the author of The Orphan Train, and Melanie Benjamin, who has written The Swans of Fifth Avenue and Mistress of the Ritz, they highly recommend this new book by Alex George. So maybe you might want to give that one a try. Then we have a new romance book called The Ingredients of You and Me by Nina Bocci. Takes place in New York City initially. A woman named Parker Adams visits a town called Hope Lake, Pennsylvania to figure out her next steps in life because she sold her bakery. And after she gets to this small town in Pennsylvania, she wonders what she ever saw in big city living. And so she meets a man, but he's already engaged to someone else, and she's determined to keep things platonic with him. And it's a recipe for disaster. So her name is Parker. She must cook up a new scheme and figure out how to keep everything she's come to love before she loses it all. So it's perfect for fans of Amy E. Reichert and Jenny Colgan. It's The Ingredients of You and Me by Nina Bocci. Kate Carlisle has a new one called The Grim Reader, and this one is recommended by the likes of Miranda James, Nancy Atherton, Carolyn Hart, and numerous review magazines, Library Journal, Publishers Weekly. It features a San Francisco book restoration expert by the name of Brooklyn Wainwright, who has a new hunky husband named Derek, and they are guests at a book festival that Brooklyn's mother has organized. And she's very proud of her, but there is a greedy local businessman who seems intent on destroying the festival because he has something in for her mother. And things start getting more personal, and Brooklyn's nearest and dearest is nearly run down in cold blood, and they have to get busy and figure out what on earth is going on here. So, Kate Carlisle, The Grim Reader, kind of a cute play on words for the title. I have one other romance today. It's called A Happy Catastrophe by Maddie Dawson. And, you know, it must be good. It has a dog and a cat on the cover chasing each other and a man and woman embracing. It looks a lot like things at my house, so, but I didn't write it. Marnie McGraw and Patrick Delaney have been in love for a few years now, enough to realize that they are imperfectly perfect together. Well, who isn't like that? Marnie's ebullient, he's brooding, she thrives on change, he prefers stability, she sees marriage and parenthood in their future, but he can't see beyond the shadow of an earlier tragedy. Then an 8-year-old surprise from Patrick's past shows up on their doorstep, cartwheeling into their lives and spinning things in all directions. And while it's not exactly the change that Marnie had in mind, it looks like an instant family to her. So how do these two very different pieces of a beautiful puzzle fit together? And how can Marnie trust in the magic of the universe when it seems to be doing its best to knock her off her feet? Some love stories are worth waiting for, and what's love without a little chaos? A Happy Catastrophe, Maddie Dawson. And our last fiction book is An Elegant Woman by Martha McPhee. This is kind of based on, she took it off of her own life, family history. Starts out in the present day and then flashes back to 1910 and takes it from there. It is both, it's a profound meditation on memory, history, and legacy. An Elegant Woman traces one woman's life throughout the 20th century, taking the reader from a drought-stricken Montana farm to a yellow Victorian in Maine, goes from the halls of a psychiatric hospital in London to a wedding gown fitting at Bergdorf Goodman, from a small house in small town Ohio to a family reunion at a sweltering New Jersey pig roast. The main character is named Isadora, and it is framed by her efforts to retell her grandmother's journey and to understand her own. And it's an evocative exploration of the stories we tell ourselves and what we leave out. It had wonderful praise from the New York Times, the San Francisco Chronicle, the Washington Post, and author Philip Lopate wrote a glowing review of it. An Elegant Woman, a novel by Martha McPhee. And I do want to make you aware that the newest edition of Book Page just came in. It will be out today for the first time. This is audiobook month in June, so they have some special audiobooks featured, and also books from every genre and for every age. You can pick these up at the New Fiction bookshelf, or if you want, call us and we'll bring one out to your car. Anything to get you to read it. One nonfiction book to tell you about, Crazy for Birds by Misha Blaze. The bird on the front says, "We're talking crazy." It is at $5.98, and it's illustrated, and it gives you interesting facts about birds as you go through the books. Bird migration, bird feathers, you name it, it covers it in a fun sort of way. So if you're interested in birds, you might find that book kind of charming. So I hope you have a happy reading week, and I will see you back here next Monday. Take care.